So, lots of questions about Incommodity, how's Incommodity performing? I think, firstly, we've been mining here since July 2014. We won this contract. It was a bid process, a tender process. We were awarded this contract in late December of 13, I think. But I think what's very important here, and something that you need to understand, is that this was a brownfields operation. So there was an existing contractor mining, and at the stroke of midnight on a particular day, we had to take over the operation. It was a light switch transition. Now, normally in our business with a greenfields opportunity, you've got time to lead up into the commencement of your opportunity, your operation. You can select and recruit your labor, you can develop them, train them, etc. You can put your systems, processes, etc. in place. We couldn't do that prior to the takeover of this mine. Yet, we were expected to perform from day dot. 5-year contract, mining approximately 10 million cubic meters per year. I think this slide, for me, tells a story. So, this is up until the point where we took over, July of 2014. The blue being the planned production on a quarterly basis. And I talked to the transition and the improvement phase, where, you know, by virtue of this light switch transition, it was very difficult for us to come out, meet, call from day dot. But I think what's very, very important, you need to understand that 9 months into this opportunity, 9 months into this operation, we were meeting planned call and exceeding it. And in fact, these 2 quarters here, and Bettina helped me right, but the sort of productions that we've been achieving in these last 2 quarters, historically have never been done on this mine. There's a cubic meters per month on average over 2 quarters there, which has never been achieved before. So this part of the game, we took on, there was also a moral obligation, incidentally, a moral and a legal obligation to take over the workforce that was here. So we went through a selection and recruitment process. We had to upskill. Not that they weren't skilled. Look, it's unfair to say they weren't skilled, but we have our own criteria in terms of determining whether people are skilled and have the necessary prerequisites to operate our equipment. So that involved training. We had to embed a culture, and culture is very, very important. You know, culture talks to lots of things, but culture talks to a safety culture. Culture talks to a production culture. And that's something that we had to work on. Now, that's a process. Again, that wasn't in place and couldn't be in place at the stroke of midnight on the 1st of July 2014. And at the same time, we had to build relationships with all these stakeholders. That's our employees, the community, our client, and that was also the start of a process. Then we got to the improvements. We had to improve the pit conditions, which again was a process, and we're very happy that there's been huge improvements on the pit conditions today. These photographs, I don't know who of you are the miners in the room, but to talk to these 2 photographs. So drilling and blasting is fundamental to this business. If you can fragment material to a point that it looks like that, your efficiencies in terms of productivity, in terms of equipment abuse, there's a whole bunch of things that suddenly fall into place. Mining starts with a hole in the ground. The next part of that is obviously the blasting, and that sort of material clearly will mitigate against us damaging equipment. You don't damage equipment today, by the way. It shows that damage in time to come, whether it be in a year's time or 2 years' time. But metal has got a memory, and that damage is going to show itself in that equipment in time to come. That is not something that we want to do. So that just gives you an idea of the blasting quality. Pit floors. So what's the importance of a pit floor? Well, everything in our business is around cycle times. It's about presenting the best conditions for your equipment. So it stands to reason that if you can present this billiard table, your equipment, your trucks run better, they run smoother, less damage, more productivity, etc., etc. So in mining, for those of you who are in mining, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say pit floors are absolutely vital to a well-run open pit operation. Equally, your loading faces, again, it just talks to overall pit conditions, but it's the conditions you present your equipment will determine your productivity and mitigate any damage to your equipment.